As I got another rhyme, another rhythm for y'all to listen. I'm never quitting on my mission, I'ma roll with what I'm giving. Got some ambition, this new edition, filling positions. Looking at the void in myself and feeling what's missing. Better watch the way you going, better go in the right direction. In the moment you stressing, but you gon' be counting blessings. And I know that for certain, keep on working, open curtains. Haters swerving, cause they ain't ready for your final version. Whoa. I'm never gonna give up, fall down, I just gotta get up, yeah. Cause this is my road, let's camera action.
You're listening to the Tom Ficklin Show on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
Since we're not hearing any sound on the video, I'm going to speak a little bit about what people are seeing. This particular video is from 2010 when I was competing in a bodybuilding show, natural bodybuilding show. I was about 40 years old here, and I was in the best shape of my life. I just can't even believe I was able to get my body to even get to this level of fitness because I'm an opera singer. So that's what this video is for. This was my routine. And it was a phenomenal time in my fitness life. And I'm still going strong. But before I get so deep into my story, let me just introduce myself. My name is Dr. Tiffany Renée Jackson. I am originally from New Haven, Connecticut. I am an opera singer, jazz singer. I am a professor of music at Hampton University. I have a master's and from Yale University, and I have a doctorate degree from the University of Connecticut in performance and music performance, and also a minor in musicology. So I'm a musician, I'm a singer, I'm an artist, I'm a creator. That's my home base. I've even expanded my creative life into writing my one-woman show, which is called Rising of the Necessary Diva. So being a creative is where I rest. This fitness life came in around the time when I was about 37 or 38 years old. So let me just talk about my appreciation first for Tom Ficklin allowing me to have this time and to sharing his platform with me. This is my second time as a guest host, which is a new space for me, but it's amazing because Tom is allowing me to be able to speak about those things where I excel. And today just happens to be about health and fitness. So that's why I'm looking sporty, sporting my little logo, my alter ego. Her name is Necessary Diva. So I have on my own little merch today, so I can put myself in the spirit of health and fitness. So let's begin. You know, growing up in New Haven, I grew up in Church Street South housing projects in New Haven in the Hill, across the street from, well, what was Church Street South housing projects. It's now been demolished in New Haven, right across the street from the New Haven train station on Union Avenue. I grew up there. And the way the property was built, there was like a series of tunnels and and spaces where you could squeeze through and run through. I mean, when I think about it, it was like a maze, really, truly. And I think, you know, it allowed me and a lot of my friends to just, have fun. And so I grew up, navigating that area, running through the alleyways and running around up and down the hill. So I grew up in a neighborhood where you had to be active. You know what I mean? That was during the time when kids went outside. You understand? We played double dutch and jacks and hide and seek and roundup and all these games, which taught me to run. I was a runner because you had to be able to run. Growing up in Church Street South. So this idea of being an athlete, I think it's just kind of baked into me. Not to mention my mom, um, you know, played softball when she was younger, and I would see my mother sliding on second base. My brother Joe was a bodybuilder himself and played baseball and basketball, all the things. So I grew up around people who also valued sport. We watched all the sports. In the 70s, I was watching the Yankees, and my mother was playing golf. We watched the boxing. My brother, of course, was watching football. He was a Cowboys fan. So sport is in my skin. It's there. Later on in life, I just decided to follow my musical path, but the idea of sport was always in the back of my mind. Okay. So fast forward to 2009. I had completed most of my formal education as a singer. I just had this very successful run for the first 10 years of the millennium, singing in Europe and singing about the United States with different organizations and orchestras. My singing career was piping between 2000 and 2008 or 9. And then there was a shift in the culture, and I decided that I wanted something new in my life. I just felt like I needed a renewal. And I ran a half marathon with one of my really good friends who is an opera singer. Her name is Anita Johnson. I ran a half marathon in 2009, I think it was, with this girl. And I could not believe I did that, and my body changed. And that was the first time when I said, wow, I pushed myself to a level that I didn't believe I could achieve. And so that started another curiosity, bodybuilding, getting into my best body. And I met Robert Fulton, who is the CEO of Full Fit LLC in West Haven, Connecticut. And Rob, I hired to be my trainer, but what I didn't know I was doing and getting myself into in 2009 was someone who was a committed trainer, really committed to fitness, not just in the sport or in the business just to make money. For him, it is really truly about transforming lives through fitness. And most of his clientele are women who are everyday women who, have day-to-day jobs, 9 to 5s, they have families, and he's taken them and molded them into Olympic athletes. And I'm one of those people. And so Robert, it has been the impetus for me. He's been the inspiration as to why I decided I wanted to become a bodybuilder. Okay. So that's my background in fitness. It started for me very seriously in 2009 with a half marathon run. And then I segued into bodybuilding. And that video in the beginning of the broadcast was one of my successful moments. I am also a sports nutritionist. I have a certification in sports nutrition, also in personal training from the International Fitness Physicians Association. I have been consulting predominantly opera singers for about 10 years now. I've even recently consulted a Broadway director. His name is Jalon Levinston. And his transformation recently has just been the thing of dreams. I met him in North Carolina when I was performing my one-woman show, and he was the director, and asked me, said, one day I'm going to reach out to you and I am going to get my body together. And he did it. He reached out to me in December, and it just so happens we were both beginning a new phase in our fitness lives, right? And Jaylon has lost, probably since we started, probably about 50 pounds. So this fit life for me is something that started out as a personal journey, but now it has become one that has benefited my friends and people who have been admiring me from a distance, and watching what I've been doing in my life as a fit person. So I wanted to share that. I'm not just talking about this thing. I went and studied and decided I wanted to become certified in these areas. That's my fit life story. So now during that phase of my life, I had to face food addictions. I'm going to take my iPad over here so I don't have to look to my right. I had to face my food addictions. I also had to learn about the benefits of my food choices. Certifications of, like I said earlier, became a part of this journey for me. And I have to tell you that with coming to terms with my food addictions, it was like an exorcism. Like literally, I felt like there was this battle going on inside of me of like, yes, no, yes, no. It was just difficult to say no to things that I knew was harmful to me. And with my clients, one of the things I often ask them are, what are your challenges? What are you challenged with, when you decide you want to change your eating habits? What are your addictions? And they're different, but for most people, it's sugar. And I'm going to talk a little bit about macronutrients. It's sugar or carbohydrates, the amount, the sheer amount, and the type of carbohydrates they're having, and not being able to control themselves because sugar is an addiction. Our body starts to yearn it. And when you lower your intake, then you feel like you're hungry, you feel these cravings. And that's what, for me, felt like this internal battle. So yeah, that's one of the questions I ask my clients is, what are your battles when it comes to food? I think also culturally, especially as African Americans, for us, food, and also for many other cultures, food is celebration. Food is the reception after the wedding. Food is what you doing on a weekend, girl. Let's go eat. Food is Sunday after church, where it's like Thanksgiving every Sunday. Food for our culture is the repast after a funeral. Food it accompanies almost to every major ceremony in our culture. So if you're not cooking good food, people will talk about you. You know what I'm saying? Like they will disinvite you from the cookout. You know what I'm saying? It's serious for us, right? But the irony of that is it can also kill you, literally, slowly, but literally. And so that's the difficulty when I am working with my clients. It's like, food is culture, food is life, food is grandma, food is mom, food is Southern, food is a memory, food. It is all those things for us. And I think for most people, that's the most difficult aspect of being able to reverse your habits. It's because of our connection to what we are putting in our mouths. It's like nostalgia. That's tough, right? But I'll come back around to that because I could go on and on about that. So now just a little bit of factual information. Fitness components, right? There are many different fitness components. And let's say, for instance, if I am let's just say I'm a bodybuilder. As a bodybuilder, when we present ourselves, we don't have to do a particular activity. Like we don't have to prove how much we can bench press. We don't have to run, we don't have to swim, it's just show up, boom, let us see your body, that's it. We do a little, some routine, but it's pretty much about let us see your body, your symmetry. They don't know how we got there, how we arrived there, just want to see the symmetry and see the striations in the muscles. And in order for a bodybuilder to look the part when it comes to fitness components, right? I'm just going to deal with 10 of those components that are a part of what we would use to design programs for people. So you have speed, which is a fitness component, strength, power, anaerobic endurance, aerobic endurance, balance, coordination, okay, flexibility, and body composition, okay? So now, of those, as a bodybuilder, I need to have strength, and in training, I need to generate power, and I can do that through speed to help to burn fat. So for instance, a circuit, strength, speed, and power is perfect for those three components for a circuit, meaning you have 3 or more exercises in succession. You don't take any breaks. You hit it, you hit it, you hit it, you hit it. You know what I mean? So a lot of bodybuilders will do circuits and powerlifting so that they can generate, more muscle, right? So that they are in what you would call an anabolic state, which gets the muscles to become activated and grow, right? We probably would need a little aerobic endurance, especially for people who have a lot of weight to lose. Aerobic endurance, you would need more than about 20 minutes of continual exercise without stopping is what you would call aerobic. Anaerobic is the opposite. It means without oxygen, which means a circuit cannot go on for 20 minutes, which means you cannot sprint for 20 minutes, right? Because that is anaerobic and your body and your oxygen will at some point say you need to sit down, right? So anaerobic without oxygen, aerobic endurance with oxygen, 20 minutes or more continual exercise. Let's say if you were a gymnast, you definitely need flexibility, okay, of the components, flexibility, coordination, balance, especially for that balance beam, right? You probably need some strength as well for a lot of those moves where you have to pull up on your body weight when it comes to the uneven bars. And for the floor exercise, you need a little speed, right? So you design programs to accommodate the athlete. A long distance runner, they don't need no power, so they shouldn't be doing powerlifting. If you are a long distance runner, you should be doing endurance type exercises. Yeah. Body composition. is important. Let's talk a little bit about body composition. And all of this information I am sharing, I think it's important to do your own research, to speak to your own health, physicians and doctors about this information. I'm just giving you what I know to be true and what are facts that I've learned through my own training and studies. Okay. So let's talk about body composition. Body composition is the ratio of fat to muscle within your body. So we have visceral fat, right? And then we also have skeletal fat. Visceral fat is fat that is found on your organs, right? Your internal organs, which oftentimes we don't think about. We just think about, oh, my arms are jiggly, or my bottom is jiggly, or I'm jiggly here, or whatever. We're not thinking about the jiggle on our heart and on our liver. Okay, it's important. That's more important, as a matter of fact, than skeletal fat. Skeletal fat is the fat that's just underneath our skin that we can almost feel and touch, right? And that's the part that we're mostly focused on when we are wanting to change our body composition. On the average, we want fat composition to be 25%, which means we don't want to have more than 25% of our weight to be fat. That's a general number for women. We want to be 25 and below. 25% of your overall weight should be where we land. Once we get above 25% and we move into the upper 20s and 30s, then we would be classified as overweight or obese. So the number that you want to aim for is 25%. And for men, I think even lower, maybe somewhere around 23%. And that's something that you could get checked when you go to the doctors. So please find out, what is my body composition, my BMI, my body mass index. Okay, so let's move on from that. Let's talk a little bit about the benefits. Well, the macronutrients. Let me go back before I talk about the benefits. There are 3 main macros, right? I would say maybe 4, because water, for me, is a macronutrient. It's so important. But we have fats, proteins, carbohydrates. Fats, proteins, and carbohydrates are 3 macros. Macros break down into micros, right? Into nutrients and things that our body absorbs. So fats break down into fatty acids, okay? Proteins break down into amino acids. And carbohydrates break down into glycogen or sugar. So what we actually eat is not what our body absorbs, right? What we eat, our stomach digests, and acids break it down. And then it moves through our intestines, and that which we can't use, it keeps moving on through, hopefully. Right? And our body absorbs what we need to live and sustain ourselves. How one is able to gain weight is when we give our bodies more than it needs to live, more than it can really rightfully absorb in a useful manner. So then it converts to other things. And fat is what is most of what we eat that's not used, is formed, fatty tissue. So let me speak about fats first. Not all fats are created equal. I'm not going to get too deep into this, but you have your healthy fats and you have your not so healthy fats. The way I help myself is that if particularly oil is solid in room temperature, you might want to avoid that kind of oil. So my grandma and them used to use Crisco to fry chicken, okay? Straight up animal fat. you want to avoid animal fat if you could, and you want to choose healthy fats that come from plants. So olive oil, maybe canola, and different maybe peanut oils in moderation, right? Because fat is definitely high in calories. But if the oil is a liquid in room temperature, it's probably going to be a healthier fat. Okay. So healthy fats are things that are like avocado and nuts. I love to snack on almond. I have almond butter that I always keep in the cupboard because it's a healthy fat. It's a superfood, right? So there's more than just peanut butter, there's all kind of nut butters. So do your research on nut butters. Seeds are healthy, you know what I'm saying? Pepita seeds and sesame seeds, really good to throw some of that in the morning in your oatmeal, or in your yogurt. Okay. Those are healthy fats. Let's choose healthy fats. And truly, we don't need more than, I would say maybe 15% of our calories in a day to come from fat sources, right? So we don't need lots and lots. Proteins break down into aminos. There's so many different aminos, right? I'm a carnivore. I eat meat. And I eat healthy meat, like lean meat and meat that is grass-fed, because I believe that it's almost impossible to get a full profile of amino acids through plants. It's people do it, and people are vegetarian and people who are vegans, they do it. But I think I've had clients who are vegetarians and vegans, and I have to work really hard to make sure that that their nutrients are balanced, that they're not malnourished. Because when you remove a macronutrient completely out of your life, you're going to be malnourished in some area, and you have to do your research, really do your research, and discover what beans and combinations of grains and things will help you to get the right amount of protein that you need. Protein is not just for building muscle. Protein also functions as a transport system for major nutrients and such, and micronutrients and vitamins and minerals. Proteins are like a transport system. So if you don't get enough protein in your life, for those of you out there who are vegans or vegetarians, you are malnourished and your body will be frail and lacking something. So make sure you do your research in seeing how you can get the most protein, and not just one or two particular types of protein. There are some proteins our body needs that it doesn't produce. So make sure you do your homework, okay? Now, carbohydrates, my favorite subject. Carbs are so good. So when we're talking about carbohydrates, we're talking about, bread and rice and cakes and pies, donuts, right? And fibers, oats, even vegetables are carbs. Vegetables have a little carbs, but vegetables are carbs too, okay? But you have to eat a lot of veggies to get the amount of carbs you need. Carbohydrates give us energy. This is why you can't do anaerobic exercises or resistance exercises, right, without carbohydrates. You need them, right? For strength, speed, and power, you need carbohydrates. For those of you who go to the gym and lift before you're eating and you're not having carbs, your muscles are not checking for you, not at all, right? So anaerobic exercises requires carbohydrate metabolism for energy. Aerobic exercises requires fat metabolism for energy. So we don't necessarily need a lot of carbs for anaerobic exercise, aerobic exercise, unless you're going to be running 13 miles and then you need to carb up the night before, not 5 minutes before. So it's important to know, based on your activities, what types of macronutrients you need to get the full benefits. Carbohydrates break down into glycogen, okay? And glycogen is absorbed into our muscles, okay? And when the muscles are maxed out, then it's stored into your liver, right? Then when your liver is like, okay, then you have all this glycogen, sugar in your blood. This is how people become resistant to insulin, right? Because the body is overloaded with sugar. Okay, so this is what we need to do. Sugar is one of the danger zones, right? Sugar, trans fats, animal fats as well are two of the danger zones. So what I would propose is that you do some research on how carbohydrates, at the rate at which carbohydrates absorb, okay, the absorption rate. They call it the GI, your glycemic index. Glycemic index is the rate at which glycogen absorbs in our body. The more simple the sugar, like starches, the faster they absorb. That's why when you give babies candy and they bounce off the walls, that's why. Because simple sugar instantly is like fuel. And if you absorb starches, as your carbohydrate needs every day, and you aren't exercising and you're sedentary, don't move around enough, guess what that sugar is going to do? It's going to convert to fat. So make sure you monitor simple sugars, starches, cakes, donuts, bagels, candy, milk chocolate, all those things. Healthier options for carbohydrates, root vegetables, right? Anything that grows, root vegetables, grains, oats, brown rice. A lot of people tell me, I don't like brown rice. I'm like, well, if I put fat back in it and cut up some chicken in it and put some sauce oil in it, you wouldn't even know it was brown rice, right? Learn to love things that are healthier for you, okay? So those are your macronutrients, your fats, your carbs, and where's the third one? Aminos, your proteins. I see my good friend in here, Carolyn Baker. Thanks for being here. Can you give information on bone density, building it and keeping it? Health professionals have told Black women for years that we don't have to worry about that, but that's just not true. Carolyn, thank you so much for that. It's one of the things that I was actually going to talk about, is the benefits of resistance training. First of all, really quickly, the benefits of healthy eating. It controls your cholesterol levels. It keeps your BMI in a healthy range. It helps to regulate your sugars, gut health. It helps to mitigate diseases and things of that nature, like hypertension and different types of heart diseases, and that are as a result of our habits, and diabetes. Okay, so now the benefits of resistance training. First of all, when it comes to resistance training, it's important to have a really good coach and trainer so you can learn to lift properly. I think watching a YouTube video is not enough, because it's important to make sure that your biomechanics are good. And that means that when you're lifting, you need to know where your spine should rest, Your abs should be positioned where your knees should be, for instance. I see this all the time in the gym, and it's scary. When people are squatting, first of all, they squat too much weight, because it's not about how heavy you lift, in my opinion. It really is about the accuracy of the exercise, doing it slowly, and feeling the contraction of the muscle as you're doing the exercise, right? And then maybe making sure that the repetition is at least 15 or more. I think there's a better benefit out of having higher repetition and lighter weight, excuse me, a little lighter in weight than one max rep. If you're not a power lifter, I don't see the point in trying to figure out and discover how heavy you can lift. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So the benefits of resistance training, right? So muscles are lean meat. Lean. It is the thing that helps our joints to be able to move and work. Muscles help us to generate power. It helps us with some of the fitness components, right? With balance. I'm always talking to my mother about how important it is to be strong in her body so that she can balance herself. Because as women get older and men get older, they lose their equilibrium and balance becomes a problem. And that's why they tend to fall more as they get older. So resistance training helps to retard osteoporosis, Carolyn. Okay. It helps to retard osteoporosis. Don't trust what I'm saying. Do your research. Bone density. As we get older, we lose bone density. We also, as we get older, lose muscle mass. Okay? Let me just say that again, people. As we age, we lose bone density and muscle mass. So imagine, as we're aging, if you're not aware of these things, then all of a sudden, your knees hurt, your back is hurting, you feel pain here, pain there, right? You start to fall. You start to feel like there is this imbalance. You break a bone. Then it becomes almost impossible to heal properly at a certain age, right? So this is where a lot of older people in particular start to go downhill. That's where they start to lose their morale and their will and their energy and their determination to just get up out of the bed. Because once you have that fall and you break something and it becomes impossible to have your independence, it becomes a spiral. So, Carolyn, you are absolutely right. And for health officials to have said this, I don't know, I haven't done any research on this, but I know when it comes to Black folks and our health, oftentimes we're told, we're strong, you don't need this, or they don't give us the kind of health support that we need. Because and this is definitely a historical fact, where Black folks are generally believed to have like thick skin. We got thick skin and we can sustain pain more than the average person, right? Yeah. And then, I mean, that is something that is a historical fact. Do your research. So I'm not making this stuff up. We don't have more thick skin. So it is important for us to just do your research. Don't always believe what you're seeing, especially on social media with these 10-second or 20-second, blasts of information, right? One of the sources that I want to recommend for people to give them concrete information is called the Dietary Guidelines for America. Okay. I'm going to see if I can put it in this chat. The Dietary Guidelines for Americans. and it comes out every 5 years, right? The last iteration was between, I believe, 2020 and 2025. So after next year, another edition is going to come out. It's the Dietary Guidelines for Americans, and it is put out sponsored by the FDA, right? And a bunch of dietitians and nutritionists and doctors, they all get together, and they come up with renewed ideas when it comes to our diet. So important to know that this particular document exists and it's free. All you have to do is just Google it and you can find it online. The benefits of proper nutrition and exercise. I cannot stress enough how important it is. We don't have to aspire to be an Olympic athlete or a bodybuilder, but we have to come to terms with what we are putting in our bodies. Our body is a temple. Our bodies are sacred. I happen to believe that the spirit of the Creator lives within. And that for me means if something as divine as the Creator is within me, why would I put junk in there? Why would I, if I believe that? Why do I spend more time caring for my car than my body? Why do I spend more time on my nails and my eyelashes than my internal body? Why is it more important for me to wear the latest fashions and cover up my body with all these beautiful things? But then I'm not thinking about how I am caring for my body. I get it, so it's not a judgment. I had to learn that. And so fitness has always been my priority since I started, to the point where sometimes I'm like, girl, go shopping, like go buy something new. Because I literally wear the same thing all the time because I'm like, I'm not buying a new outfit if I'm not in my best body. My outfit is my body. My clothing is my body. What I present to the world, I want to feel good about when I'm in my private moments. So I think it's important as well to think about our priorities and to understand that our bodies are only a reflection of how we treat our bodies. It should be a part of our self-care regimen, meditation, whether it's through yoga or through prayer or through reading or through walking, and then afterward putting something healthy in our bodies. So I want to share one of my healthy regimens with food. I have a green juice regimen. I drink so much green juice. And the recipe is simple. I mean, you can use whatever green leafy vegetables you'd like. But I use kale, and I cook the kale because it's much easier to dissolve. Kale, cucumber with the green skin on, green apple. I either use turmeric or ginger that I cut up and put in, a squeeze of lemon. I've even used collard greens, right? Cooked collard greens, because it just gives it a nice little taste. So you can use spinach if you love spinach. You can, use other green leafy vegetables. And then to give it a good taste, I have my BCAAs, okay? Branch chain amino acids, my essential aminos. And they're flavored. I've had, I think like mango flavors, blueberry ice, right? And I'll take a scoop of it and I put it in my green juice, and it just gives it a little bit of a pop, right? And I put in maybe about 8 ounces of water, put it in my bullet and grind it. And to me, it tastes like I'm drinking green heaven, like this beautiful palm tree behind me. Like it makes me feel like I'm on a beach sipping on green, not gin and juice. I'm sipping on something green and healthy for me as I am watching the waves flow in, right? When I drink green juice, I think about, you know, respecting the earth. I think about, things that are natural. I think about how when I'm sipping it, how it's making my body happy, you know. Yeah. So get some green juice in your life and sip on it throughout the day. Have like maybe 4 ounces with 3 or 4 of your meals. Okay. So that's like a ritual for me. When I make my green juice and I sip on it, I'm like, yes, it's helping me. It's healing me inside. It's going to prevent visceral fat to happen on my internal organs. Yes, it's going to make my skin pop. It's going to help my hair and nails to be healthy, right? Those are the things that I manifest when I'm drinking my green juice. So have a ritual, a healthy ritual in the morning to get your day started. And it can just help to, elevate you throughout the day. And you're like, you know what? I think I want to do something healthy for lunch as well, too. Yeah. So just think about those things for yourselves. And how I would like to end this is if there are any questions out there, please, please, please ask them because I am there. I'm here for it. I also had uh, advertised that I wanted to talk as well, and I forgot a little bit about the intersection of fitness and artists and artistry. I have many friends who are opera singers, many of them who travel all the time, who have consulted with me about fitness and who I know struggles on the road. Because when you are a performer, you travel to some of the most beautiful places in the world. They put you up into one of the most beautiful hotels in the world. You're in a town you've never been to before. Like I've traveled to Poland, to Krakow, Poland, and you want to try the local food. I have been to Lithuania, to Kaunas, Lithuania, and I have had the local food there, to Norway, to Buda, Norway, where it's way up inside the Arctic Circle, where it gets dark at 11 and the sun comes up at 2 a.m. You want to try the local whatnots, right? So it's tough out here in these streets. But if you travel all the time, this should just be par for the course. It's like, this is my work. This is what I do for my job. My job is not to taste food when I go to every city and state. My job is to go there and to sing down, right? To shore up my legacy, right? And to bring my lifestyle with me. And then when you go on vacay in the summer, then you go to places and you enjoy a little bit. But if you travel every month to a different state, and if for your entertainment, it's about, ooh, where's the food around here? What are they known for around here? You could really work, excuse me, work yourself into a very unhealthy lifestyle. And you will notice the pounds packing on from year to year to year to year to year to year to year. And to be an opera singer is one of the most demanding, for me, trades in the world. First of all, you got to fly there and get there. And then second of all, you got to bring your opera score into that rehearsal and have a Sitzprobe, maybe within hours of landing. And then you have to waltz with the tenor. Maybe you have to kneel and sing Ave Maria, piena di grazia, eletta fra le spose, le vergini sei tu. Sia benedetto. Like you might have to kneel, right? When you sing that Ave Maria in Verdi's Otello, you might have to, do something that the director is demanding. And you don't want to have limitations. If you do have limitations, yeah, you speak up for yourself, because it's like, look, I'm not an acrobat. But if you have the ability to be flexible, because we are actors as opera singers, we're singing actors, that's who we are. And we want to be able to bring our best selves into those spaces and not feel limited or trapped by our bodies. We want to feel that we are able to portray these characters and roles within our best selves. Okay. And I'm not talking about being skinny, because we need body to sing. I'm saying being healthy. And whatever that means for you, be sure that you discover what that is. Assimilate a team of people to help you and to motivate you. And you'll get there. And just understand, I'm also here if anybody is interested in working with me. You can go to my website, necessarydiva.net, and give me a shout out, and I can help you to begin your journey. God bless. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your attention. Again, my name is Dr. Tiffany Renée Jackson. And thank you again, Tom, for giving me this platform to share. And Harry, thank you as well for your help. God bless.
Come on, Tim. Let me see what you got.
My country, 'tis my queen. Sweet land of liberty.
That's what's up.
I sing.
Wow. Get it, girl. That's what's up.
Yes. Good job. Amazing.
As I got another rhyme, another rhythm for y'all to listen. I'm never quitting on my mission, I'ma roll with what I'm giving. Got some ambition, this new edition, filling positions. Looking at the void in myself and feeling what's missing. Better watch the way you going, better go in the right direction. In the moment you stressing, but you gon' be counting blessings. And I know that for certain, keep on working, open curtains. Haters swerving, cause they ain't ready for your final version. Whoa. I'm never gonna give up, fall down, I just gotta get up, yeah. Cause this is my road. Let's camera action.
You're listening to the Tom Ficklin Show on WNHHLP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.